Alright guys, today I'm just going to be showing you a quick video on how to change your own tire. This is a 2019 Ford F-150, but it should be pretty much the same on every vehicle out there. All you're going to need is your jack and your jack accessories and a pair of gloves if you would like. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is get our spare tire off from underneath the vehicle. So you're going to have to lower down the tire, which is located underneath the back of the truck here. So this is where your license plate is going to be, and right to the right of it is going to be this little round peg. So you can pull that open, and you can see there's like a key slot. So get your key for your truck and insert that into there, turn to the right, and you should be able to pull the whole thing out. Now you can just leave this sit up here so you don't forget to put that back in when you're done. Now that you have that off, you'll have your tools in this little case that goes over top of your jack here. So get all that out, and you're going to have your tire iron here, and you should have 3 other bars here. So one has a hook on the end of it. You really don't need that part right now, so you can take that off. So what you're going to want to do is just push down on this button here, and that's going to push this little hole down here, or peg, so that should, as you can see there, it goes down. So that, take that off and set that to the side so you don't lose that. And what you're going to want to do is attach all these together. So same thing as you just did, but the opposite. So find the one with a hole in it like that. That's going to go on the top, and then you push down here, and there you go. So do that to all 3 of them. There you go. So now you got one big long rod. So now you're going to want to take this big end here. That's a big opening there. This one just has the small opening. So take the big opening, and you're going to put it in through that hole that we just used the key to open up. Now what you want to do is take that big open end again and shove it through the hole. And if you look through that hole, you'll see a little tube in there with a bolt at the end that's the same size or a little bit smaller than the square on that end. So you're going to feed it up in there until the point where it's like that, and it won't be able to turn. So now you're going to take your tire iron here and put that side to the outside. It really doesn't matter which way it goes, but I like to do it that way. And attach that to there. And then you'll start spinning, and the tire should drop down. So now once you have the tire on the ground, just give it a few extra turns to give yourself some slack to get this bar out of the middle here. If you look there in the middle, this is what holds the tire up. So now we have to work that out of the center there, and the tire should come loose. The tip I can give you is pretty much just lay on your back and lift the tire up, and then try to feed it through from the outside. Try to turn it out on the outside and then feed it up through there. Alright, now that you got the spare tire off, we're going to move on to your flat tire. So whichever tire is flat, go to that tire. Bring your jack with you. And the tire irons that you were using back there, you don't need to take them apart yet. You're actually going to need that hook part back though. So attach that back onto the very end. So you're going to need that on there. There we go. And we're going to need to place the jack in the proper spot. So it's going to be directly behind this tire here on the axle. Okay, I got it all set up here. I'm not really on a flat surface, so I had to have a board here for flat surface, but you'll probably be on a flat surface with some cement or something solid. I just used a board here, and then it's just going to be right on the axle there. It'll focus. There we go. Just like that. So make sure it's perpendicular, so it's straight pretty much with the tire there. And then what you're going to do here is take the hook part. This is usually going to be attached to that whole long pole, and you're going to put it through there like that, and that's what you're going to turn in order to jack up the vehicle. But for right now, we're just going to leave it, and we're actually going to loosen up the lug nuts. Okay, so now before you jack up your truck, just make sure to loosen up your lug nuts. It's a lot easier to get them loosened while the tire is still on the ground. You can get a lot better torque. So we're going to go through and loosen all these up. Doesn't really matter what order you do it in. Just get them so they're so you can take them off with your fingers. And then we'll jack it up, and then we'll take the tire off. So this is your tire iron here. So you're going to have to take it off that big long pole here that we were using earlier. And this is what you use to get the lug nuts loose. Alright, now that we got them all loose, we're going to run the tire iron actually out the back of the truck. It's a lot easier than running it out the side here. There's just really not a lot of room to move it around, especially if you want the jack to be parallel with the tire. So we're going to run it out the back. Now we're just going to jack it up until the tire is off the ground. Alright, now that we got the tire off the ground here, we can take the rest of the lug nuts off, and they should just be out in finger tight, so you should be able to slide these off. And if you do have a jack stand, now would be a good time to put it underneath the truck in order so the jack will not fall. If the jack falls, then at least you'll have a backup to so it won't fall on top of you if you happen to be underneath the car. But another good technique is to actually slide your spare tire underneath your vehicle, so then if it does fall, it doesn't fall as far, it'll just run into the tire. So Alright, now that you got the tire off, all you're going to do is grab your spare tire and put it on. And it's going to be heavy, especially if it's a full-size tire. If it's a donut, really not that big of a deal. But just try to line it up before you lift it up onto it. That's going to be your trickiest part, is just lifting it up to get it onto it. So try to get the holes lined up before you try to lift it onto it. Alright, now that you have it sitting on there, you can put a few lug nuts on just to hold the tire in place. Alright, so now what you're going to do is make sure the tire is completely flat up against the wheel well there. And you're going to want to tighten these down just finger tight. But just kind of go in a star pattern at first. So you're going to go from down here to like up here, to down here, to up here, to over here, and last lap here. Okay. So now that they're all kind of in place, you can wobble the wheel a little bit and see if it's wobbling at all. But it seems like that's actually pretty good on all fronts there. So no wobble in the wheel, because if you tighten them down in order, like around one way or the other, it could not line up flat with the tire or with the behind. So then it'll be wobbling while you're driving. So you just want to make sure that they're all tightened down evenly so you get a nice surface-to-surface contact there. So now that we are good to go, we'll grab the tire iron, tighten them down just a little bit. So we're just going to tighten them down just a little bit now, and then we'll drop it, and then we'll tighten down the rest of the way. So again, go in the star pattern. There we go. Make sure again there's no wobble. Looks good. Now we're going to lower down the jack and we'll tighten it down the rest of the way. Alrighty, the jack is completely down now. Now you're just going to tighten them up the rest of the way. Again, as a star pattern, put as much torque as you can get into it. And then whenever you get to a town or anything, if you need to replace that tire you popped or anything like that, have it checked out. Make sure that they use a torque wrench to torque that to the specific torque weight. So you are not driving with a loose lug nut or too tight or anything like that. So there you have it, guys. How to change your tire.